It is an incredible honor to be representing the families of victims of the Triangle Fire, and also the families of those towering women figures in our labor history, Clara Lemlich, Rose Schneiderman, and Frances Perkins, on this historic occasion. There are over 200 family members here from all over the United States and Canada. My hat's off to Bruce Rayner, Edgar Romney, Eddie Vargas, and Sherry Kane of Workers United, and the visionary Ruth Sergel, leader of the Remember the Triangle Fire Coalition, who are taking this to the next phase by spearheading the creation of a Triangle Fire Memorial to be designed by the artist Janet Zweig. This memorial will ensure that the legacy of these 140 workers will go on with force and resonance in this great city. And now I would like to share with you my family's story. Two sisters, Rosie and Katie Weiner, my great aunts, worked at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, both union members in a non-union shop. Rosie and Katie were at the end of a brutal week of monotonous labor, toiling in a crowded, cramped space where conversation was not permitted and locked in when flames shot up around them. Rosie was 19 and Katie was 17. They made decisions that enabled one to survive and the other to perish in the fire. Rosie was filled with hopes and dreams. She was engaged to be married, and from her salary of $8 a week was saving for a farm in the country. Katie, spirited and animated, was the youngest in the family. Katie bravely grabbed the cable of the last elevator to leave the 9th floor. Here, in Katie's words, is what happened. I was searching for my sister, Rosie, but I could not find her. Then I found myself crushed against the elevator door, knocking and crying like the others for him to come up. Suddenly the elevator came up and the girls rushed to it. I was pushed back to the staircase door. I was crying, "Girls, girls, help me." But they kept pushing me back. The elevator started to go down. The flames were coming toward me, and I was being left behind. I felt the elevator was leaving the 9th floor for the last time. I got hold of the cable that went through the car and swung myself in, landing on the girls' heads. All the way down, I was on the people's heads. According to reports, Rosie jumped from the 9th floor window, holding her friend Tessie Wiesner's hand. I wonder about Rosie. Did she go back to look for Katie? As the older sister, she must have felt responsible for her younger sister. Did Rosie panic, exhausted from her long days of laboring, unable to think clearly, overcome with smoke? If the door had not been locked, would she have managed to get out? I think about Rosie, about her brief life so cruelly ended by horrific work conditions. Rosie, whom we should have known. Their sister, my grandmother Minnie, was at home with 2 young children. In her later years, my mother, who, unable to speak to me about it before then, told me that her mother had taken her when she was 4 years old to the makeshift morgue to identify Rosie's body. The family suffered unimaginable grief and pain, something all of us family members here understand. And it has traveled down the generations and can still be felt deeply. But the family also survived and thrived. Katie went on to testify against Blanc and Harris, the factory owners, and it was Rosie and Katie's brother David who followed Harris and Blanc as they left the courtroom after their acquittal, shouting, "Murderers, murderers, not guilty, not guilty, where is the justice?" David did buy a farm. Katie went on to marry Phil Lubliner, the president of the Leather Workers Union, and I have the gift and mission to never forget Rosie. Now I would like to ask all the family members to please stand. Wave your arms if you are in the crowd, so we can all take a moment to honor and celebrate the resilience of these families who went forward in the face of this enormous tragedy. At this moment in our nation's history, when unions are threatened and the middle class and our public service workers are under attack, let this Triangle Fire Centennial be a call to all of us to rededicate our energies, raise our voices, and become more active in the pursuit of justice for all working people. Let it be known loud and clear that we stand for workers' safety, collective bargaining, for the strengthening of unions, for a working democracy, and that we stand with those struggling for their rights across the country and around the world. We stand with you from Wisconsin to Bangladesh in solidarity. Thank you.
And it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce another fire commissioner in 2011 who speaks with the same voice of his predecessor 100 years ago. He's held every rank in the fire department all the way up and is now Commissioner Salvador Cassano, Fire Commissioner, New York City. Every so often, a major event occurs that changes the course of history. This year, we mark the important anniversary of two such events. Triangle Shirtwaist Fire of 100 years ago, and in September, we will commemorate the 10th anniversary of September 11th, 2001. While in many ways, these two catastrophes were very different, they both caused the nation to do some collective soul searching, to ask, what kind of a country are we? What kind of a country do we want to be? They both marked a little differently. There was before September 11th, and there was after September 11th. Before September 11th in the fire department, we thought our primary job was to deal with fires and emergencies. After September 11th, we realized that we had to worry about deliberate and large-scale attacks on our city as well. Before September 11th, the worst tragedy the department had faced was when we lost 12 members at a fire on 23rd Street in 1966. On September 11th, we lost 343 members of our department. Before September 11th, most Americans thought of terrorist attacks as something that happened elsewhere.
3, Battalion 7, Squad 18, Engine 1, Engine 3, Engine 5, Engine 14, Engine 24, Engine 28, Engine 33, Engine 55, Engine 72, Ladder 3, Ladder 5, Ladder 6, Ladder 8, Ladder 9,
These are
Ladder
the units
20.
that responded to the Triangle Fire.
Detail, hand salute. Ready? 2.
Emilia Prato. Jacob Bernstein.
Sonia Wasatsky, my great aunt.
Benny Lansner.
Josephine Camarada.
Serafina Saracino and her sister Teresina Saracino.
Asa Mel. Morris Bernstein.
Essie Bernstein.
Jacob Seltzer.
Diana Gurjoy.
Grandfather Wade Lewis Rosa.
Sarah Brodsky.
Ida Brodsky.
Ray Herman.
Sarah Bregman and Rosie Bregman.
23 and 17 years young.
Daisy Lopez Fitzley.
Rebecca Fibish.